everybody, it's Casual Boops coming at you with another video, and today we're doing Advent Calendar Day 17. But also, if you're new here and you're watching Advent Calendar things, be sure to hit the like, subscribe button and the bell, and you'll see more trash that I put out on YouTube. So, anyways, so it is for day 17. It is the Somua SM, one of the tier 8 French heavy tanks. It is not a deal. 10,200 gold is the standard gold price plus 300 for the garage slot. Do I think the tank is good? Yes. Do I think you should buy this tank? Only if you're advanced. If you know what you're doing and you know how to play the game, then I think that you can really make the Somua work. If you're not very experienced at the game, the Somua might be very frustrating for you because it's very good in some ways, but hard to use in other ways. It's got an autoloader, a standard autoloader, not an auto reloader. But yeah, it's very good. And I'll get into the stats here now. So first things first, the great thing about, or I just want to point this out, the Somua has 2,000 DPM. But Boops, I thought you said it has a clip. Well, it does have a clip. It does 1,500 damage in that clip, and it takes 36 seconds to reload. Sounds like a lot, right? Except for the Lorraine 40T of one of the French medium tanks, one of my favorite tanks at tier 8, to be honest with you, has a 4-round clip, right? The Somua has a 5-round clip. The 4-round clip on the Lorraine takes about 36 seconds. So you are getting about the same drum reload as the Lorraine 40T, which has 4 rounds, except in the Somua you get an entire extra round. So you do 1,500 damage in one mag, which means in frontline you come up against any medium tank and you just eat it. You come up against any same tier heavy tank. You'd have to high roll a couple, like if 1,500 should get it done. You might get unlucky and you might lose it, but if he's got any hit points gone, you win those too. You could just eat other tanks. It has great clip potential. You're not actually paying that much for the reload, which means you also have good DPM. So in a way, it kind of feels like a T57, where you have the clip potential that's amazing, but then you also have DPM that's respectable too. And the intra clip time between is 2.25 seconds, 2.25 seconds, 2.25, which is tight, right? It's fast. It's not like 3 seconds. Feels like you're waiting a little bit longer. So this has 5 rounds and it lets you get him out a little faster. So 2.25 is good. 300 damage is fine, and then 232 standard penetration is very good. So I like, it's just like all the other French 100mm guns on the on the Liberté. Like, by the way, I'm going to talk about this. The AMX M4 MLE 40, the Liberté tank, right? Single shot tank has worse DPM than the Somua because balance, right? So you get a clip that has amazing clip potential, and you get great DPM, and you get good penetration, and the drum reload's not that bad for what you're able to do here. So what's the downside, right? The downside is the gun stats are kind of derpy. The gun's a little bit on the derpy side, and let me see here. Also, it's not that fast, right? It kind of it feels a little bit like a Lorraine with engine damage, right? So it's I haven't played around too much with field mods to see what you can do to make the speed any better. But it is it's a heavy tank. It's slower, and the armor is okay. It's just okay. It can work against tier 8s and 6s and 7s, of course. But if tier 8s tap 2, your armor doesn't matter much, and tier 9s and 10s, of course, they don't care about your armor at all. So yeah, mainly the downside is that it's slow, but you still get 10 degrees of gun depression. It's I don't know, like there's so much to like about this tank. The crew layout matches the 50B. Which is a 4-man crew with like everybody's a loader basically. So yeah, you get 10 degrees of gun depression. It's very flexible in that way, as long as you let the gun behave. All the equipment that I'll get into the equipment in just a second, but like, it doesn't have the camo. It's a heavy tank. It doesn't have view range. It doesn't matter. It's a heavy tank. You're here to dump a clip. So how to play the Somua? You want to be with friends, right? You want to be near allies of people that you can fall back and rely on. And then when the enemy shoots their gun at your friends, you pull out and you dump an entire clip, or maybe 4 rounds or 3 rounds. You just get like three or 4 shots in for free, or as many as you need to take a tank out of the game, and then you pull back, and while you're reloading, your friends are covering you. Then you pull out and do it again. And if you do this right, you won't even take a lot of damage doing it. But the reason I said it's not very good for new players is it takes a little skill to know when you can pull out and not get evaporated, right? Because everybody knows the Somua has a clip. And so you are public enemy number 1 when you pull out and somebody can shoot you. The armor is, like I said, it can work against tier 8s. Of course, it's shooting itself right now, and it has great standard pen. So if we compare it to like more normal, a more standard tier 8, like let's say that 50 TP prototype, sure. You can see like the turret's kind of blah, right? It's straight ground. The hull can work. It's got this angle, and it's got again a good gun depression. If you do one of these things, the hull can really troll, and you can use the angles and do the things. The turret's not that strong. I'm going to be honest with you. It plays a little bit like a 50B, right? Where the hull is weird, and the hull is kind of weirdly strong, but then the turret's not very strong, and so 50B is kind of hard to play, right? And so this tank is likewise kind of hard to play, but the armor can work. Just you have to, you shouldn't be relying on it, right? If you're like daring somebody to shoot at you, they're going to shoot you and they're going to pen, right? But the idea of an autoloader is you have enough armor to troll somebody and bait a shot, and then you can pull out, and then maybe then you just dump your whole clip, and you maybe eat one shot, or maybe you, like I said, you use the trollish armor to maybe bounce one, but then you give it back to him way worse than you got it. So that's the idea, but again, it's hard to play. I think the tank is very good for experienced players, and there's a lot to like here. How I would kit it out, and I've accidentally compared it to it. So how I would kit this out is basically, I'm going to be honest, I haven't played it a whole lot to experiment with what it can do with the speed, right? Because the power to weight's not very good, and so it's not, throwing a turbo on there doesn't really do a whole lot. Because it doesn't, it's just not as effective. So what I would do is aiming circle thing as usual, view range to help as much as you possibly can. I would pick firepower, and again, I run mine with you have a decent crew. I run mine with food because I'm a tryhard, and then everything that I do is all about making the gun behave. So it would be vents, V-stab, and then in the improved slot, I would probably do this. This is probably how I would run the tank. You can't run a rammer, of course, because it's got a clip, but yeah, I would do everything that you can to try to make the gun behave, because it's all about the clip. It's all about getting your rounds in. If you engage somebody and they're on 1500 hit points and you miss one, maybe you die, right? So it's very important to make sure that your gun can be as good as it can possibly be. Alternatively, you could probably convince me to run optics on this, I guess. Anyways, that's the gist, that's the tank, and we'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching.